New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
And hello again, tier ones. Rev Brz over here.
Rev Brz right here.
And we're a couple of ministers talking shit. Happens every Friday here on the New Thought Media Network. And this week we have the amazing Rev to be. You know, that's an official title.
Yeah,
you get to a point where you're not quite a reverend just yet, but to be. And there's no question. That you are, dear ones. If you don't know who I'm talking with, this is Laura Topper, professional practitioner out of London, the England, UK. She gives us that global feel. She helps us anchor that global word in our mission and vision statements there. And overall, she's just an amazing person. So, Laura, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for inviting me onto this sacred show. I love it. And I love the talking shit part because we don't often get that freedom to do that on New Thought Media Network. So it's good just to say how we really feel.
There you go. Say it again. Yeah. Say it anytime you want today during this. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, and folks, if you are following along, you might know that Laura's got a new show that's been premiering this week on the program. It's called Unlock Your Mama Power, and that happens at 7:30 Mountain Time, which is the exact same time that this show is supposed to end, and we normally don't. And so Laura's going to be with us for a bit here, and then she's going to have to kind of jump out and run down the hallway here to another studio and make sure that everything's set up for Mama Power at 7:30 Mountain Time here on New Thought Media Network. And that happens on Tuesdays and Fridays now, correct?
That's correct. Tuesdays and Fridays at 7:30 Mountain Time.
Perfect. Tell us just a little bit what it's about.
Well, it's really about, because it's focused on, it's I wouldn't say it's just for women at all. It's for anyone that identifies with the divine feminine within, and how we can use that power that's, you know, that spirit that's coming through and that we shut down. And I'm saying, no, come on, it's time to open up and listen, and how we can apply that in our lives, in our businesses, in our families, in our own lives, so that we can have a more fulfilled and empowered and prosperous life.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So we do different things all the time, but anyone that comes over in half an hour will find out more.
Well, I will definitely be tuning in because it's that feminine power that we need. We need the balancing aspect of nature, of life itself. Part of the challenge we have now, we've gotten too far anchored, if you will, in the masculine energy, and we're leaving out the divine feminine. And there's a yin and a yang. There's a oneness to the whole thing that we must bring back to begin to heal all of the stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of healing some stuff, oh my God, guys, we got to talk about this. Folks, if you've seen this story, kudos. I don't know why I didn't see it until today. A 77-year-old veteran is giving a speech at an American Legion post in Ohio on Monday. Now, he's giving this speech and he's talking about the honoring, the participation of slaves and ex-slaves in the development of the Memorial Day holiday. And the organizers, in the middle of his speech, the organizers cut his mic. And the statement that the main organizer gave, I'm not going to tell you how old or how white she is. The main organizer of the program said that content was not relevant to the program.
Wow. Even though they were cited for the creation of the thing.
And what the guy's talking about now, I had never heard this before. Like, I'll admit, folks, right? I've been the dumb white guy for far too long. And I didn't realize quite how integral freed Black people were to building the Memorial Day holiday. I guess I always just assumed it was a military thing. And if it was a military thing, then the military doesn't really include the Blacks. So if it was a military thing, that was the way my mind operated. But I'm just appalled that anybody would pull a mic on somebody.
Right. Especially a veteran and a lieutenant colonel veteran at that, right?
Somebody that had risked. Oh, excuse me. I know there's this lag here. Somebody that had risked his life and seen others dying for the sake of us being here now, basically. I'm in the UK, but we have Memorial Day here in a different way. We have on the 5th of November or the 1st of November. I can't remember. But anyway, it's the day where we actually honor the veterans that from our country here in the UK. They've risked their lives for us in so many ways, and I'm just astounded that someone right now with what's going on, that somebody could actually pull a mic and just shut somebody up there and then. How old is the woman? What has she lived through? What is she, it's like, where has she come from? What is in her mind and her heart? This is the problem, that people are doing things so mindlessly without thinking through the effect of that.
Yeah.
I think we can make it easy. Folks, if you identify in any way as white, then and the topic has anything to do with anybody that's not white or other than white or better than white, more colorful than white, just shut your mouth. Just shut up and let them do what they're doing. Like, it baffles me. And so she let her whiteness overrule the moment. She let her belief that she knew better than a lieutenant colonel overshadow the belief, and she let her own biases overshadow a learning moment. She took away an opportunity for how many people to actually learn a deeper part of our history. And in America right now, there's no greater history that we have to learn, I believe, than the history of how we have oppressed people of color.
Right.
And how people of color have tried to prove to us that they were worth it. It's all screwed up.
Well, and one of the questions you have to ask is, what is this young lady's military background or history? What anchor is she trying to pull on? And just if she has any military service at all, she should know, if she's not a lieutenant colonel, part of the military order is you don't pull rank like that. Well, you can't pull rank like that if you're lower rank. So unless you're higher than a lieutenant colonel, and that's one thing. Then the other thing, there's the famous saying in the service, permission to speak freely. Right. So here he was speaking freely. And once you say that, you're given the opportunity to say exactly what's on your mind. And he wasn't given that opportunity. And so now we have, as we were talking about a little bit before, this whole idea of the freedom of speech, and this is a tough subject, right? Because when you start talking about freedom of speech, you open up the floodgates for everything, and that's fine. I mean, we need the contrast, I would say, just so we begin to see the variant points and begin to find where the middle ground is. But now people are doing it. It's not factful. It's downright distasteful and destructive. And so the question becomes, and this is a prime example, how do we begin to preserve freedom of speech without people taking pot shots to destroy people's lives or livelihoods, or their whole character, as what happened in this guy's place, about him being able to speak something that's true, we got a lot. We got some uphill battles to go with here.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that fine line, or is there a line? You know, it's that what you were just saying of there's being freedom. That's what makes our societies democratic, is that we have freedom of speech. You know, because there are countries on this planet that there are not those freedoms to be able to express ourselves or people can't express themselves freely as the divine. They have to shut down and they're not harming anybody. I think that for me, that is the line. It's having that freedom to be ourselves and to say it in a way that is not detrimental towards anyone else, but it's adding to the conversation. I think that's the difference. Adding to it from a place of mindfulness and respect for the other, rather than from a place of, I know best, I'm right, and you can just shut up.
Yeah.
Then it's not freedom of speech. Then that's actually, that's abusive.
Yeah, that's being a
For me,
bully.
that's abuse. Yeah, that's bullying. Yeah.
You might.
So you're muted. We want you
Sorry,
to speak freely.
Yes, and that's because I was trying to remind everybody that that's part and parcel of the American mainstream media.
Yeah,
that's the mainstream media's mode of operandi. We're right, you're wrong. Shut up, and don't you dare turn the channel. Keep listening to our crap.
Yeah.
And as you're speaking, Laura, what I'm hearing is, and I can't. We kind of waded into these waters last week a little bit, and part of the reason we want to have you on is you have a much closer and realistic perspective, I believe, of what's happening between Israel and Palestine and the Palestinian people in that region of the world. Because what we hear in the United States is, we're right. This is what we want you to believe. Now shut up and sit down. And oh no, don't listen to those other guys. They're wrong. And all we see is, you're the aggressor. No, you're the aggressor. You're wrong. No, you're wrong. We aren't being given a view or a perspective of how people are actually talking, of how people are working together to bring forth this world that works for all. Right, this world where we can move beyond this. I think a lot of Americans, unfortunately, are led to believe these are just two half-naked tribes that have grown up and learned how to use more powerful weapons.
Yeah, well, are really two first cousins. Really, they're descendant of two brothers. And so somebody got mad over who got more dinner food at the table or something. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's so old. And even if there was some disagreement that someone thought was worthy of I don't even see how, taking somebody's life over. Now it's time to figure that thing out and solve it, because we're losing too many lives of women and children and men and over we were talking earlier, it's in my mind, it's a lot like the old story where they're having holiday dinner and they're cooking the dish and they cut it in half, the ham or the turkey or whatever they're doing, and put it in two pots, not really knowing why. And when they go all the way back and ask the great grandmother why they do that, she says, oh, well, we had a small oven and we needed to cut it in two halves because we couldn't get the whole thing in there, And so they're continuing to follow a tradition that no longer needs to be followed, because they got a big oven now. We can put the whole bird in the oven, but they're still killing people and doing these things. It appears to with no real foresight or knowledge about what the heck's going on.
Yeah, it's a topic for me. It's a hot topic at the moment, and I don't know if I have a different a different perspective because I'm in the UK. Maybe my differing perspective is because my family of origin is Jewish, and that doesn't mean that I agree at all with everything that is happening right now, because I haven't agreed with it for a long time. And in my heart, my question has always been, well, what is stopping you from working this out and living together in peace? You know, are you really arguing over one tiny strip of land here where you're all living in anyway? So, but there is this whole fear. It's fear-based because, you know, once one part doesn't want to give up that land because they believe this is, you know, this is like the religious kind of, you know, offering that, you know, they should be there and no one else can have claim on it. And it's fear-based. The whole thing is fear-based. And I think, Rev Robert, you're so right. What the technology with the weapons is so. I think there's a big thing about that now because they want this, you know, they want this land so that they can fire their missiles out even further and reach other countries. And it's just a mess. It's a mess. And what I'm learning and realizing is that in that mess, that has to break. It can't stay like that. It can't be supported to stay like that. And people are rising through, and groups are coming together and saying, we've had enough. This is enough. We need to create solidarity here. And there are organizations of thousands of people coming together to do that, and they're bypassing the politics of it. You know, they're bypassing what they are being fed, and they're going with what's in their hearts and saying, we need to find a common ground here to live together in peace, because it's our children that are going to be growing up in fear of their lives.
Right. Yeah.
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 So see, this one might be on your side a little more. I understand the Jewish people are afraid there could be another Holocaust. I understand the Jewish people's desire for a safe and secure homeland. I understand the dispute that that there is over how holy the Holy Land is. And maybe I'm being a little judgment here, but who's a little more pious about the damn Holy Land, right? In some way, this all comes down to who I'm more holy than you. Hey, no, we're a little more, and I understand what I believe is a perception that Muslims and that it's all about how are we going to control the world. Right? I don't believe that about Islam, but there are a lot of people that believe the Islamic faith is all about creating one world state, the one world Islamic state. Right? Help me. Where in the Quran does it say that Islam is going to conquer the world by lodge and missile over fighting? We're fighting over holy land. I still get frustrated and confused because it seems like everyone wants to try to hide behind their religion as their justification, but neither of those religions promote war.
No. Well, you know, this would definitely take a whole show, right? Because
I'm more.
You know,
I'll be doing Mama Power at 7:30.
we can come back next week.
Yeah, because first of all, if we go back to Abraham, who is the progenitor, if you will, of the monotheistic faiths, he was neither Jewish nor Christian nor Muslim. He was Chaldean, right? He came out of Chaldea and started the whole idea from monotheism, right? And so then when we get to the city of Jerusalem, there's a Christian claim to it, there's an Islamic claim to it, there's a Hebrew Jewish claim to it, and at this point, like you said, none of the systems promote fighting or killing over that land per se. Now, just like with anything, you can find verses or you can find statements, take them out of context, and make anything right or anything wrong. and that's part of what's happening with social media and public news and all of that. Now we take snippets of things, we take things out of context, and then we find some other evidence that is possibly true to support a half-baked idea that is not fully articulated.
Mm-hmm.
Every system says take care of yourself. The whole, protect your people, protect your land. Every religion, every ideology, and every system of humanity speaks to that point, because life is sacred and it should be protected. But when it goes to the idea of articulating those ideas at the death of somebody else, or simply because someone doesn't believe what you're saying or brings different information to as a counterpoint, well, now we got a problem. See,
Mm-hmm.
so because this is where that First Amendment comes in. Okay, yeah, you should have the right to express yourself, but at the same time, you need to bring some facts, some information, and we know facts can be twisted too. But you need to bring some more than your opinion and a photo or clipping that you took out of context to prove a point, or to incite war or riots or shut someone's business down or defame somebody. And that's where we have to begin to look for the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Yeah. I love what you've just said about snippets and how easy it is to just pull out this from there and that from there and then make a new story that has no foundation of fact or truth underneath it. And that is what the media does, isn't it? That's what the media is good at. And so how do we even know that we're hearing the truth, through all of this? How do we even really know that what we're hearing is actually what is happening?
Right. And people are going off doing some heinous things off some clips that they, with some fancy video equipment and a green screen, have pieced together some things, and then you find out later, ooh, that wasn't quite the story.
Yeah.
And even the tendency to make the story without naming names, that furry little creature of a news organization has a tendency to speculate upon one thing in one show in the evening, and then by morning their commentators are speculating on the comments the speculator made the night before. And suddenly it's a
don't have that. I mean, we might. It's available on Sky or whatever network, but we have the BBC, so there's a kind of a different thing going on with the news here. But what I was really also interested in is how, as a new thought organization, philosophy, science, how do we bring a whole different revealing to this? With using our principles and allowing people to have that space to be in a room together and talk about this, not because we're separating people and saying, right, you go over there and talk because you're one group. Because what I'm seeing through social media is people coming together to say, we want to change this together. Not we want to change this as a group of our own. We want to be with you with this change. And I think that's really exciting. I feel really excited by that. And not only for Jews and for Palestinians and Muslims, but also for Blacks, people of color and whites, to actually say, right, okay, we're going to bring everyone together, and let us all be one with this and work it out together. I love that idea.
And part of that challenge is we have to begin to respect another person's point of view, another person's perspective. I could never, I don't care how much I read, how much I study, I could never see things from a feminine perspective. Totally, 100% correct. Now, I can make some inferences and I can put myself in certain situations. Boom. For a person of color to see the world as a white person, or a white person to see the world as a person of color, we can get close, but there's certain things you're just not going to be able to take a preview on. And so at that point, I have to step back. If I can talk about feminine principles for a certain point, at some point I need to shut up and listen, because I can't go there, right? And then I have to respect your input. And so when we do that, now we have some hope. We have some ability to get a full picture, that we can make a better decision. We may not ever get the whole picture, but the more information we can get, the more perspectives we can get, we can begin to make better and better decisions that will affect everybody.
Yes. It's that willingness, having that willingness to say, right, I know I'm not right, and there's more to learn. There's more I never know it all. But coming away from that whole thing of I know it all, this is how it is. Which I think our teaching is, isn't it, open at the top? We're coming away from our own kind of myopic view of life and wanting to embrace the whole lot.
Yeah.
I mean, just think about it. If we were not open at the top, if we didn't allow new knowledge, new information to be presented, we would still be teaching that the world is flat. Now, there's some people who still believe that, but we can prove, I think, without a shadow of a doubt, that we're not living on a flat earth, and that you won't fall off the edge if you get to a certain point. And so it's the same thing in all fields of study, right? Philosophy, religion, geology, science, whatever, that no matter how much we know, there's always more to know. And so we have to be open at the top to allow the universe, ourselves, to expand, to become more of who we are, and to understand the whole idea of unity and togetherness and interrelatedness, that if we screw that up, there's going to be a problem and a price to pay.
So, folks, this is how we end up running overtime every week, folks. We just have so much fun. So we're going to say, we're going to give a big, huge hug and a thank you to Laura, and say thank you, and let her run down the verbal hallway to the other studio. It's great seeing you. We hope you'll come back again and again. We know she'll come back again and again.
With you.
Thanks for being with you. Z, before we go
out of the studio. Hi, everyone.
She's fabulous.
Yes. Another perspective.
I so look forward to the day we get to celebrate her getting her license and giving her that full reverend title in this philosophy, in this organization, in this movement. So thanks for being with us again, Laura Topper. She's all over the network. Catch her anywhere you like, folks. So okay, Z, final quick one today. We got a minute and a half, 2 minutes left here. A woman puts a post out, supposedly. Now, I've been trying to track this story down and see if this is really real. She puts a post out on Instagram saying that she's unfriended everybody in her feed that has shared anything about Pride Month. So it's June, folks. First episode of the month, Pride Month here. Thank you. I love marching. I'm an ally. I love marching in the annual Denver parade. It's so sucked that we didn't last year. It sucks that we're not going to march this year. But I'm usually the guy right out behind with one of the churches just screaming, thanks for coming out. Because I so love everybody that comes out for the parade and has come out to be who they really are in their world. This woman basically is the biggest bigot we can see of the week. And her business is immediately ostracized, publicly shamed, websites overflooded and down, as far as we can tell, phone numbers. I've seen this happen before. Should we publicly shame people that are using the public commons to promote incredibly bigoted, racist, and antiquated ideas?
Ooh, goodness gracious.
And you got 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds. Well, in 30 seconds, I'll say this about that. Again, we start crossing multiple lines. We have the line of First Amendment right to speech, right? Okay. But as I always say, in something we talk about, life is prime. And if what you're saying is not promoting life, or in fact destroying life, or setting up situations where that is the case, then we need to scrutinize that a little more. I mean, she's entitled to her opinion. I have my opinion. You have your opinion, and there's someone somewhere who will say, "I think that's a crazy idea, that opinion you have," and I'm gonna, make a statement against that, and that's fine as long as it does not destroys someone's livelihood or life, or more importantly. And so, it's good to have these contrasting ideas, because it gives us the opportunity to work towards the truth, which is what we really need to do. But just condemning someone, and making wild, ludicrous statements about a post, or someone's presentation of who and what they are, that has to stop. Because where does it? Okay, I don't like you because you're tall. Well, I don't like you because you're short or black. Long fingers, short hands. I mean, at what point do we stop arbitrarily picking things to denigrate people, and perhaps even kill people for something that they have no control over? They are who they are. I couldn't change my blackness if I wanted to.
Well, I don't believe any of us would want you to. I know I wouldn't want you to. All right, folks, you heard it here first. This is Ministers Talking Shit every Friday, 7 to 7:30 on the Mountain Time Zone, give or take a few minutes. I used to have this saying, start on time and finish early. Now it's start on time and finish when you finish. So, so thanks for being with us, if you're sticking with us, folks. But we will let you get on to the rest of our programming. The Unlock Your Mama Power is on right now with Laura Topper. Turn us off and go back over to Facebook and jump onto to that program. 8:15 morning prayers, and our full lineup of Friday programming. Morning Sip with Rev Melissa at 8:30. Wake Up, Say Thank You with Rev Steph at 9. I'll be back at 9:30 with the the Heart of Peace meditation. I'll remember what I'm doing. Heart of Peace meditation, and Rev Skips here at 11. So it's a full morning on New Thought Media Network. Thanks for being with us. Z, final thoughts?
We're all one family. Let's begin to love like that, and treat each other like that, and celebrate the unity of life always.
Peace.
Peace.